Howdy folks, welcome to another episode of Bikes, Burgers, Beers. I'm Big Steph and it's 7 a.m. as of recording this. I'm heading up to Wisemans Ferry to meet up with my friend James early in the morning, and we're going to do the old settlers trail that heads all the way up to Laguna. Well, not quite, but you'll see as we head along this journey. So here I am just heading down the bends on Springwood Road, and we're just going to head our way over to Wisemans Ferry. But before we do that, I'm catching the Sackville Ferry. So after we jumped off the Sackville Ferry, I made my way over to Wisemans Ferry, and just see there was a guy who had a bit of an off on his motorbike. I don't know what he was doing, I wasn't there at the time, but he seemed okay, he had help, so I moved on. Believe it or not, this is not my friend James in front of me. However, that was James, who was just next to me there. He finally turned up moments later, and we decided let's hit that trail and not wait around much longer. So we got onto the dirt road and had a bit of fun. Now this Settlers Trail, it's nothing technical, it's just loose gravel. We have a bit of fun, couple of light water crossings as you can see. It's nothing hardcore at all. However, here's where I tried my 360 camera, and James was playing with it behind my back. Ah, you goose. And as you can see, it's plenty popular with a lot of off-roaders. The scenery was absolutely beautiful. I am saddened to say this was about 3 weeks ago when I recorded this. Since then, we've had more torrential downpours and flooding, and unfortunately, not only is this whole place completely flooded right now and blocked off, and you can see how close the water is to the shore there. G'day, mate. Hey mate, how you going? It's just completely flooded, and a lot of the road is... G'day mate, how are ya? A lot of the road is washed away completely. A lot of residents are complaining because they're actually stuck in that spot now. They can't go anywhere.
Still gonna work, I guess. When you beeped, I was like, no, already? And I stood up, looked behind me, I was just like, it was sitting like that. I'm like, yeah, that's great. That should be alright. Yeah. You can just see my ass. Yeah. Anyway.
As you could see there, I was playing around with the Insta360, trying to get used to how to mount it on the bike and learning how to use it. I have to say the video quality ain't that great, but it's probably more my fault than the camera. As you can see here, that washed out look, it was pretty bad, but it could be me. So I'm going to keep playing with it a bit more. Now, this is the front camera of my bike, and that's the 360, and you can see such a difference. It's so much more washed out in colors, where the GoPro Hero 7 that I have mounted to my chin, that's just me checking if the camera's still there, but I've got it mounted to my chin, and look at the colors, they're nice and vibrant, and then you get back to the 360 and everything's washed out again. So I'll be learning how to do a little bit of color grading in the meantime, but I'm sure there's some settings in the camera that I can probably play with that are going to help me out with that as well. So here's James coming up behind me. He wasn't sure if I was recording or not and wanted to get in amongst the action. And I don't blame him, it makes for good content, that's for sure. And I was really just experimenting with this camera. So this ride was more about that. And you can see there the colors. What is going on there, Insta360? I hope your new model, the 1RS, is a lot better. That's shocking. The ground was not that color at all. So we just stopped here just for a moment to have a look around because it was just beautiful. We took off a bit more. Now, I'm going to show you a photo of the place we just stopped at in a moment because it is really, really pretty. But this is on our way to Laguna now, so we've gone off the dirt, but this is that place we just stopped at. And it was absolutely stunning, and you can see here is a beautiful photo. Now, when we got to Laguna, I ordered the tagine, which was on the specials menu, and I have to say it was absolutely delicious. Oh my god, it was divine. And this is the view from where we sat. It was just absolutely stunning. So once we finished up, James and I had a really good one-to-one chat, and we hit the road because it was starting to get late. In fact, it got so late that I ended up getting a bit stuck. That's coming up shortly. We kind of raced home a little bit, and you can see I'm probably pushing the bike a little bit more than it's meant to, at least on these roads, and way past my talents off-road anyway. So you can see this handlebars are starting to tank slap. I was definitely losing a lot of grip on that front tyre, because the front tyre on my Himalayan is still stock. I did just get a new Mitas, or Mitas, I don't know how you pronounce it, E07, just the standard 60/40 or 50/50 on-road, off-road tyre. It did a lot better at the back than it did at the front, let me tell you. The front felt like it was on ice, on oil. It was horrible. So I'm looking forward to getting my front tyre soon. Fingers crossed it eventually arrives. I'm just waiting for that phone call. So here we are back in St Albans.
So you're going to Wisemans Ferry?
Yeah.
Yeah?
What are you doing?
I'm going that way across the bridge.
Where's that take you to?
That's where it takes you to.
It's basically the other side of the river.
not.
So we'll both be doing this. But then I go over towards Kurrajong.
No, I won't.
Oh, shit.
Oh. It probably survived the whole time until then.
That was James's cake. We picked up some treats for our ladies to take home. Unfortunately, he squashed his, but I didn't ask him if it arrived home safe and sound. So here we are. We went across the bridge, which I have heard has now been washed out due to that torrential rain and flooding, which is really, really unfortunate. But I'm thankful that I got to see this place and do a little bit of exploring around the area. It's absolutely stunning. The problem with going this way, though, will be coming up shortly, as you've already seen me hint towards. As we made it over to the other ferry, which I think is... oh, it's something Creek Ferry. I forget the name. I'll bring it up on the screen here. But what actually happened was I left James, he got on the ferry and took off. I made the wrong turn, so I chucked a Yui, thinking, okay, well, I guess I have to go this way, which is what the map showed me. And I was riding along where all of a sudden I reached this dead end. So I got my maps out to have a look, and the road exists, it's fine, it's just closed, and I imagine it might have been damaged. It was probably damaged from the last set of rains that came through only mere weeks ago, so I raced my way back, and as you can see, I'm losing a lot of light here, so not really the right thing to do when it's just right upon sunset. So here I am back at the ferry where I left James only about an hour ago, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for the ferry. Alright, off the ferry, and here we are heading home. As you can see, I'm losing more and more daylight, so the trick was just get home. I didn't want to be riding out here in the dark, and it looks like I had no choice. And it was sadly because of that wasted hour going around that dirt road that was closed. Had that been open, I would have likely already been home because that road drops you down into East Kurrajong, and I just would have jumped across the river, headed down towards Yarramundi and gone up Springwood Road, which you saw at the beginning of this video, and finally made it home. Ultimately, guys and girls, I did make it home. Thankfully, it wasn't too late in the evening. It was approximately about 6 o'clock in the evening, and that's an 11-hour day of pretty much almost riding the entire time, apart from sitting at the Great Northern Trading Post Cafe. So thanks all for watching, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Bikes, Burgers, Beers. Please don't forget to subscribe. Every little thumbs up or thumbs down counts and means a lot to me. Hope you enjoyed the show, ladies and gentlemen, and see you next time. And don't forget, keep it twisted.